Mitchell's trying to do it, but he doesn't have his bottom two strings. You still can do it, just you pull it up. Change the rhythm, just like with the Chris thing, and then do the Chris one that's a different chord, different strum, and then switch back to the other for the other songs. You know, like take a paragraph from each song.
So he like puts his grandma in the senior citizens home, and the orderly seems like really, really nice. And so as soon as he leaves, like the place turns into like this sweatshop. These little old ladies are like quilting, and this one lady, she's like, my fingers hurt. And the orderly is like, yeah? Well, no, my fingers hurt. And he goes, yeah? Well, now your back's gonna hurt. Guess who just pulled landscaping duty? And so she has to go out and like rake the lawn. And then he goes, anybody else's fingers hurt? I didn't think so. And all these ladies are just like quilting like crazy. So whenever anybody says my fingers hurt, I think of that little old lady. My fingers hurt. Yeah? I guess we just pulled landscaping duty. Anybody else's fingers hurt? I didn't think so. August 16th, 11 a.m., 7 p.m., a 67-cent hamburger at McDonald's.
for a couple days at least.
What do you mean?
Before you go back. Because you can edit the videos during the recordings during the day. For something to do. And vlogs, whatever you want. And then we can jam during nights.
Edit
We could hang out with Sam or something and jam with him, you know, like get some
and edit the
That's what I meant.
podcast.
That's what I meant.
Because I'm super curious to hear them.
They won't be well, like we'll have one posted tomorrow and then we won't have another one until the 30th. And then 15th and 30th and 15th. Because remember when we were talking, we said we ended
Spread
up
them out.
saying for 1 month, but he was like 2 weeks, and since we have so many, I'm like, yeah, let's just do 2 weeks. Because we have at least 2 months, and there's this, at the end of the month, there's a vacation week, so we'll probably go to the cottage and obviously that makes me
That's good.
I guess if you just go and do you remember when we talked about engagement? We're here. We've invited you, and all you're doing is texting people. Yeah, I feel like we're having this great time, but we could be having it with you.
Alright, I'll wrap it up.
Okay, don't hit her home too hard. I think she got it.
And she's ours.
I'm your hypocrite.
This is really high. This way singing's way too high. What?
You're not playing at the top.
What do you mean I'm not playing at the top?
You're playing starting here, not here.
M, G, and E, my Nancy. G, and E, my Nancy. And G, and E, my Nancy.
And Sherry's once again texting or doing something on her phone instead of being here and having fun. She's deciding that her technology is more important than ours. We didn't mean to shame you, but we kind of did.
Yes, you did. But that's okay, I deserved it.
Oh, Sherry.
It's good to have you back in the groove, singing with us.
The funniest is when we were on the podcast and we're talking about, you and mentioned me, we're talking about like how it's really important to like connect with people and like not use technology at the table. And Tim's like, yes, while he's on his laptop.
I know. I was like, I'm just gonna shut up.
Yeah.
But I
Like,
already let
yeah.
you know that I'd be able to
Yes.
do it with while working. But
It just, it
It's
looks
like-
bad when we're talking about eye contact and like, you know, trying to make a connection. And he's like, yes, type him in.
was that small talk?
That's small talk is more like obligatory, like, you know, meeting somebody at a party and being like, oh hey, how was your drive here? How, you know, how's the weather? Were the roads muddy? You know, oh, what do you do for a living? Like, now, if the second conversation, like, small talk is usually like, it's like talking, but you don't really care about what the other person is saying.
Small talk is?
Yeah, small talk. It's just like, it's like conversation that neither one of you are really interested in, but it's like a social obligation. Like, you meet somebody at a party and you're like, oh, so what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. But you're not really that interested. Now, if you're really trying to get to know somebody in a social situation, you could ask them questions like, oh, so what do you like to do? Or what do you do for fun? Or, you know, like, is this your first time coming here? What do you think? Like, if you were to meet someone at the storefront. Right, because normally the types of small talk is like really, really empty. It's the weather, it's what do you do for a living? Pardon?
Well, the appointment is kind of empty, not really.
But I'm showing that I care. See, that's the thing. Now, that's the thing I mean about following up and paying attention when people tell me something. Because I actually genuinely care how her doctor's appointment went.
Yeah.
Because, no, it's not small talk, because I genuinely care how her doctor's appointment went. And then she feels like, oh, Sherry was paying attention when I told her I had a doctor's appointment. And so it makes her feel valued because I remembered something she told me like a week ago. And I'm following up with her. Or if, you know, like my friend Carol was going through a really heavy depression. So every couple of days I'd check in and say, hey, how are you doing? Like, do you want to talk? And just showing that I'm like, I know you were struggling last time I talked to you. Like, are you doing okay? Like, you can't always have like an instant intimate connection with everybody you meet. But it's like building trust, building relationship, and valuing someone. So for example, like with Luke, I know he's looking for a place. So I'll text him and say, hey, like, I know you went to see a place. No, because it's
Because even that I'd call small talk. Just little tiny conversations, pretty much.
Well, small talk,
Like,
the reason it's called small talk is essentially it's simple
It's
things
empty.
they could ask to anyone, not specific things.
Yeah.
Like her asking Luke specifically about things that she already knows about, like, hey, what's happening with your girlfriend, isn't small talk,
Yeah.
because essentially she's asking about something she already knows about. Small talk is essentially when you go, oh, look at the weather, or oh, what are you doing in your career,
Ooh,
or
I
oh,
heard
how's
it's
your
gonna
college?
snow.
It's essentially things that
The
they ask because they
forecast
don't
has-
already know about you.
Like the forecast, it looks like it's gonna rain
Mhm.
tomorrow, or
Yeah.
and it's gonna
Or
be
did you
sunny
hear
on
the latest
Wednesday.
news about Trump?
Oh my goodness, like, yeah, how about
Huh.
that Blue Jays game?
Yeah.
You know, that's small talk that you could have just sort of an empty conversation with anybody that never really leads anywhere. It's just you're making conversation for the sake of making conversation.
Yeah.
But like, you could still have like simple conversations, but when I ask Luke how, not just how are you doing, but like if I ask, okay, for example, if you told me that, I'm trying to think of an example with you of a time when I've,
well, like, I understand, like, now, like, what small talk is. It's definitely not what I thought it was.
like if I knew that you were like I remember once you said you were giving your testimony at youth. And so I remembered, and then we came home and I said, oh, how did your testimony go? Without you offering it. So then, you know, that, I don't know if that left any kind of impression in your mind, but what I was hoping that would do is go, okay, well, Nana cared enough to ask me how it went. You know what I mean? Or like,
Yeah, but you always care to ask me stuff like that,
but that's also a skill that I've learned to develop. And as you get older, because when you're young, like especially kids, they only talk about themselves. And so you have to make all the conversation with kids because they don't have the social skills to realize like you have a life and you have thoughts opinions and you have a favorite color and you have things that are important to you. Kids are always being fed, so it's hard to have a balanced conversation with a child because you have to always ask them questions to keep them chatting. They'll very rarely ask you a question like, so how was your day? Like, they don't have the maturity to do that. But as you get older, you start realizing, oh wait, the world doesn't entirely revolve around me. These people have problems and challenges and excitement and stuff too that, it doesn't have anything to do with me. So it's a matter of like paying attention. Like, for example, my old boss, like this is one that really meant something to me. My old boss, who I haven't seen in 8 years, but I'm friends with her on Facebook. The day before my triathlon, she sent me a private message to say like, really proud of you. I hope you do well tomorrow. Like, I hadn't posted anything about it on Facebook because I hadn't done it yet. But I had like a couple of days prior been like, practicing for my swim. So she had retained that information for several days, and then right the day before, she sent me a private message saying good luck. And I was like, wow, like thank you so much for remembering that. That's so awesome. So even though it's like, I don't consider that small talk because she went out of her way to make me feel like she was interested in my life and that something I was doing was of interest to her. And then as soon as I got home, I had a private message from her saying, hey, how did it go? Was thinking of you today. And like, that's different than just like, small talk is just generic, empty conversation.
I thought small talk was just talking. Pretty much, I guess that's what I classified it under. Because it's just hard to talk usually. Like if I go in a group or like I'll be like, I have no idea what to say. I can ask the cheesy questions. I guess small talk is.
Yeah, if you
like,
just.
well, it's your week or whatever, but I have like no idea what to say.
Yeah.
Which I guess I have no idea what to say for deeper questions.
But if you get into a habit of asking questions and then remembering, like for example, like Maddie Regier. I love Maddie. I don't know her particularly well, but I want to get to know her better. So like whenever she talked about school, I would remember, and then the next time I saw her, I was like, oh, how was your teaching in when she went to the village, the Aboriginal village? I was like, how did that go? And when she was studying and I knew how crazy her last 2 weeks were, I'd like check in on her and be like, no, it's exam time. Good luck to ya. And then like when she graduated, I like took her out for coffee and I was like gave her a little gift and said congratulations on graduating, and it's just that is like me showing I'm interested in your life, and I'm like, look, whatever I learn about you that is of, and I do the same with like Caleb Yonchar too. Like he's not really one to ask me questions because he's still pretty young, so I don't really expect Caleb to really ask or care about my day. But like when he got the job interview at Starbucks, 2:30 the next day when his interview was going to be, and at 2:30 I texted him to say good luck, thinking about you. And like I try to do stuff like that with people I'm trying to connect with, so they feel like I'm paying attention to what they're saying, and I'm valuing what they're saying. So and then the more you find that you have in common with people, and the more open they're willing to be with you because they know that you actually care. Caleb tells me so much stuff because he knows I genuinely want to know, because I've spent the last 4 years building that relationship with him, of asking him questions, and oh hey, like I'll do the same with Sophie. I'm like, oh, your exams are coming up. I know what her exams are, when they are. I'll be like, good luck on your history exam today, and it takes a little bit of effort, and sometimes I'll have to like write it down. Like I keep notes in my calendar and remember people's birthdays, or I have a gifts list. Like if someone's telling me in conversation, oh my gosh, like I love Swedish berries, those are my favorite candy. Like, okay, so and so, Swedish berries. So when their birthday comes up, I'll get them Swedish berries. And they'll be, oh, that's my favorite candy. I'm like, I know. But it's like, it's paying attention to what people are saying. And if you have to jot yourself a little note to remind yourself, so even if you like have a list, because I have a list of, you know, people, like if I go to the storefront and I'll run into Elsa Marie and, you know, Nick Yarnchar or whatever little things that we talk about and I ask them about, I'll try to remember. If I need to, I'll write it down. Like I remembered Elsa Marie's the day she got her citizenship and I sent her a card, congratulations, and you know, it's just those little things to make people feel like I value them, and then that makes them feel more connected to me, you know, and I feel more connected to them. And so I work really hard, even with like the Zylstra girls. I know what their favorite animals are, I know their favorite chocolates. So when they come over, I'm like, you know, I know Chloe's favorite animal is a panda, so I found out how to make panda cupcakes, and I'm like, come on, let's do.
I never gonna find the